CJI 2, the recap, the truth, boots on the ground. I've got the insight. I was there. The stories behind the stories.
You just got back a couple of days ago?
I literally got back yesterday.
Bam.
And so I was in San Francisco for a couple of days before CJI 2, went down to Vegas, connected with Jack, shout out, young blood. And then we're at the event and connecting with folks in Las Vegas, caught up with Benny from Partisan,
Nice.
his partner. And just seeing people all around the town, which is always cool. I think that's the great vibe with an event like this, because also World Masters is on Jiu-Jitsu Con.
Yep.
So there you've got like 13,000 people plus all coming for that.
CJI planned it, you know, around that same kind of deal, piggyback
sure.
like they did last time, ADCC and shit.
Yeah, it was strategic in that way, but it was also a long weekend. It was like a bank holiday on Monday, so it was it was very busy.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah.
What was the vibe coming into it like?
The expectations were very high.
Yeah.
I think the expectations were super high. The hype was legitimate because having a teams event, you're like, this could be the best
exciting
thing. This could be the best thing ever. This could be even better than the first CJI. Imagine that.
Yeah.
Pardon me. But
which would prove to be a curse.
Yeah.
How fucking good the first CJI
I think
was.
it is so difficult to do the follow-up, so you could just say that. But there were certain things about the first CJI which made it great. And those things were not present. Well, let's talk about that. What made CJI number one so good? You were there. We were both there. It was fucking great. The 5 rounds or 4, like 3 rounds or 5 rounds for the final.
Yep.
And the
rounds were
scoring.
great.
Having the scoring.
Open scoring, right?
Yeah, letting us know at the end of the round, the judges think so-and-so's ahead.
Yeah.
Whether you agree with that or not, you know where the match is at.
Yeah.
So if you know that one person's up 2 rounds and there's only 1 round to go or 3 to, you're like, well, fuck, they need to pull out the submission.
Send it.
Yeah. And that emphasis on action meant the matches were action.
Yep.
And there was a lot of use of the alleyway, the wall.
Yep.
And that was fucking exciting.
Yeah, it was cool.
You know? And also the fact that there was one match on and everyone was focused on that.
Yep.
So coming into CJI 2,
it was also like one of the other things that played strongly is that it was like a revolutionary event.
Yes.
It was, you know what I mean? It was
the
like
alleyway,
but it was the way the event was framed. It was a whole rebellious thing
against,
and everyone's like, "Fuck yeah, this is sick. This is some underground shit,
changing the game."
Yeah, you know, which you would have to say a little bit of that sort of sheen had worn off by the time the second event came around.
I don't think so. I understand that perspective, but I think what people were excited about was the potential matchups.
Yeah.
Because you didn't know who would get matched with who. And so that means you could get some real, like the Absolute. Maybe Fabrizio Andre fucking launches somebody way bigger than him, and that's fucking exciting. But unfortunately, the rule set rewarded stalling. And this is the biggest letdown of the whole tournament was really, if you looked at how to game it, all it took was for one member of a team to get a submission, and then the rest of the matches could be stalling, like stall outs, and then that team would win.
Yeah.
And you're like, surely they're not going to do that. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is what they did. And, you know, if you watched it, I tell you what, being there, it was 5 times more frustrating than watching it on YouTube.
Yeah, where
the
people
crowd was
like,
getting,
oh. Yeah, right.
Like like the vlog where Jack was there filming the vlog, and there were so many times he'd like cut to my reaction, and I'm just like, like it wasn't me being like, woo, yeah. Like I was just like, man, fuck this. It was so disappointing because the bigger guys, there was some really good kind of size matchups, and you've got to give credit to like a guy like Owen Jones or like any of the smaller guys who did really well against bigger guys. But the bigger guys knew all they had to do was just control.
Just make it to the end.
Yeah.
Not get subbed.
Yeah, and if they'd already got a sub, then that was it. And so
yeah, it's an interesting point.
The vibe from day one was pretty average.
Dude, I was like, so I'm a big fan of Quintet, as you know. And one of the things that Quintet does,
they penalize.
They're so hardcore with the penalties. Like they slap hands, go, and if 5 seconds later no one's done anything, referee's like, penalty. If you get 3 penalties, it's disqualification. And then they just drive, and athletes are like, fuck, I've got to do something, and they just make shit happen, right? And day one, we saw no penalties. Like the referee did not intervene once.
Yeah. And look, even, as we all know, like Craig had to get online, offer extra money, and then also say, yes, we're bringing in quintet-esque rules to penalise.
Well, it was already there. It was already a quintet rule set.
I didn't know that was.
It was, and I didn't know either, but it was actually a collabed quintet event.
Right.
And they were like, we're following the quintet rules here. And so we were like fucking sick. And then when the day one played out, we're like, you didn't enforce that key part of the rules.
So then I think there was a lot of backlash online. And as a result, more people, the stadium was probably only half full day one. There was more people day two.
Right.
I think people had come from Jiu-Jitsu Con and it was like people had come for the finals. But yes, day two started way better.
Yeah, so that ref, the bald-headed guy,
yeah,
the one that Galvão had beef with,
yes,
because he
switched it on.
Was it Hulk?
It was Hulk versus not Joseph Chan. Was it Joseph Chan? Maybe.
Nah,
that
was last year.
No. But I was thinking it was a similar thing. It was somebody with a profound guard game. It could have been because it was Athos versus Team Williams in the day two. So anyway, to the site.
But yeah, so yes,
Team New Wave. I call him Team Williams. Aiga, forgive me. So
that ref,
Hulk was stalling.
And that ref was
I
like,
think it could have been against Mika.
Okay, yeah, right.
Yeah.
And that ref was like fucking dishing out penalties, and it was like, fuck yes, they've turned it around.
And people got excited.
Yeah, okay, and you could feel that watching it.
The energy.
Like it brought the energy up, and you're like, oh, it's on now. This is what we wanted to see.
Yeah.
But then
Big John McCarthy came out, and I love Big John McCarthy, right? I was excited for him to be there. He did nothing. He did nothing for penalties, and then it just reverted.
Yeah, it went back to stall tactics.
It was so tough. It was so tough to accept that you had the potential of all these great matchups and some of the best athletic talent ever brought together in one stadium to take no-gi and turn it back into IBJJF Worlds. Stall City. That's not what we're there for. People weren't really using the wall. Actually, stand out Dorian Olivares, just bulldogging everyone.
So good.
What a savage, bro. The roughest unit.
Yeah.
The smother.
Oh, yeah.
The forearm.
Philippe, on Penna.
He also did the Ethan Krellenstein. He beat the fuck out of Krellenstein.
He destroyed Krellenstein.
Bro, it was rough town.
Yeah, he was fucking great to watch.
So that was.
Arguably, it was his matches stuff that kind of that saved it because you're like, fuck yeah, I can get excited about this.
Yeah, and
there were some great moments, like of course.
Yeah, definitely. But I think the difficulty was, a team could win without submissions.
Yeah,
I think even the fact that both players get kind of knocked
eliminated.
out. Even if it were to have a golden point or some kind of outcome. See, what you guys may not know, you're watching at home. People told me, and I think you might have mentioned it, Joe, that you got to see the score at the end of the match. Is that right?
Oh, actually, on reflection, I can't remember.
Someone told me that.
Right.
We didn't see the score.
Right.
Like, we watched the match, and it was kind of, okay, both players knocked out. There was no submission. We actually didn't know which way the judges went on it.
Right.
So we kind of left to guess.
Yeah.
And I think that was a huge failing because at least if we knew what the judges were thinking, we could have formed an opinion and we couldn't. And, I was sitting around a variety of people, I didn't have.
Were you pissing off your neighbors?
No, I think people found it funny, me just just roasting everyone. I was genuinely disappointed with everyone, Australians included. Like, I believe my expectation was too high, but the potential was big. And as a result, I was very, I was just scathing of the whole thing.
So I don't want to be a whinger about this because I obviously loved the event. Overall, and
sure.
And it's fucking amazing, right? Like the money and the talent they get and all that. But I noticed and I think I saw this a lot from the Australian grapplers, was like they stuck to their game
And didn't
only
change
and
anything.
refused to adapt.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the ones that wanted to play
Kennard.
guard. Kennard, yeah,
Kennard versus
refused to come on
Wojcik.
top. They just
Like,
did not
just-
come. And you're like,
and you're not gonna
even Adele, right?
Actually, that was the biggest.
And it's
that
like-
was the biggest thing.
Fuck, come on top, like come
Something-
on top, do some
yeah.
shit, you
Yeah.
know? Because obviously, like you could see Cravar's
just
strategy
sitting
of
back.
I'll sit back on this
And
this
it was
bogus.
no
but
knee
you're like
line.
she's talking to the judges here,
Yeah,
and she's doing a good
she
job of
gamed
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so coming in and just and it was similar to the Fionn match, right?
Yeah.
Of like where Adele's like,
Just
no, I'm
control.
sticking to my guard game here.
But yeah, if we compare Fionn to Cravar, it wasn't about passing. It was about controlling
Yeah,
and then faux attack.
yeah, same playbook.
And also just dangle her hair in her face. Like that, was
ridiculous.
fucked.
Yeah.
That was so ridiculous.
Yeah,
And,
but yeah, I felt like this like.
And look, if you looked at the attacks that Adele had, and I say this with no bias, like I'm gonna give like a point of like credit and a point of criticism, right? Because I love Adele. Adele, you're my girl. I love you to death. Adele's attacks were legitimate. You know, when she went to
Yeah.
the arm, she went to like
Yeah.
they were legitimate,
Yeah.
and you're like, that's a threat, and Cravar had to fucking defend. So I think a lot of people were messaging me being like, how rigged was that? Like Cravar was attacking nothing.
Yeah.
How could you award them? But I think it's like similar to MMA that like, oh, she was jabbing even if she wasn't doing damage, right? So even though if you thought that Adele had the major attacks, she wasn't as attacking as Cravar. Here's the point of criticism. When you saw Adele escaping, she was just bailing. Like she was literally just disconnecting and lying on the ground. Like what you'll see a lot of the times with leg lockers is they'll defend and re-pummel and re-attack.
Yeah.
You know, like it's dude goes for this, you know, girl goes for that, like back and forth. Adele was just like, no, I'm not tapping to this, and just no counter.
Right.
Like, and I spoke with Jake afterwards, Jake O'Driscoll. I bumped into him at the end of it, and he's like, yeah, we got a couple of things to work on. There was a very clear footage of where Adele was trying to get out of a footlock, and she was totally disengaged. No points of contact, just bailing.
Yeah.
This happened multiple times with no direct counter.
No counter.
And didn't threaten to come up or sweep or...
Yeah.
And that was, as a huge Adele fan, fucking frustrating. So I just knew... But here's the thing.
I wanted to see more of the game, right?
let's-
More of her game.
Let's speak about the women's setup. It was better than the men's because they had the rounds.
Dude,
they
Sarah
had the scoring.
Galvan was fucking awesome.
Oh, bro, so good.
She was on fire.
She's looking great.
Yeah.
And that was the format that made CJI great. Is the rounds,
One
the
person
scoring.
can win a chunk of money.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so good.
Come out like a rabid dog.
Yeah, and the tournament missed that. So, man, I feel like the women's matches were more exciting than most of the men's matches.
Yeah, I mean, we saw a bit of the rabid dog vibe, say day 2, like Badoni.
Oh yeah,
Because he obviously
Bad
had the
intentions.
tapping incident on day 1.
Oh, he was-
So he's like, I'm coming out to prove
fucking
something. And
angry.
you're like, yeah, this is the energy we needed.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the pervasive energy of CJI1, right?
Yes.
Where everyone's like out to prove and like, I want to fucking win this money. Yeah. What? Tell me, what was the vibe on the day 1? We had 2 mystery tap moments. We had,
I think because from the crowd, like I was actually sitting relatively close. Like our seating wasn't courtside, but it was like we were only, 10 rows back, 15 rows back. So we had awesome view. The feeling was that Badoni tapped. But upon reflection, maybe not. You know, like
Very hard to say,
You
isn't
know,
it?
because it wasn't like it
it
was
wasn't
just,
like the Martinez tap.
No, the Martinez was a
a
tap. And whether you love him or you don't love
I
him,
can never fucking remember which one.
no.
Is he Gio or
Richie. So Richie Martinez is the boogeyman. He's the older brother,
Right.
And Gio's
Gio.
the younger.
Yep.
And look, full credit to that guy. He's a very experienced grappler and a legend of grappling. So I'm not saying this to say bad on him, but dude's on the leg, kind of belly down twisting, and he's like straining.
and he puts his hand to the thigh or something. right?
And it's more than once. It
Yeah.
looks like a tap. So when he's like, I didn't, you're like, dude, like, you're all professionals. Like, let him break your shit then. Don't make it look like
yeah.
a tap. Like, it was so And then it's
We all saw the video.
Yeah,
Like,
dude, you can
yeah.
see it just looks. You're not selling that you're not tapping.
Yeah.
It looked very much like a tap. So I think the initial reaction was like maybe with the Bordoni case, maybe if Pierman,
Yep.
if he just kept going, and then we saw if it was actually more of a threat, then maybe there'd be more of a case for it. Might have jumped the gun a little bit on that one.
On letting go of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But he
perhaps.
was like, oh, he tapped. But like if he just kept kind of cranking and then actually got a tap, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think that people were happy because people wanted to see a result. People fucking wanted to see it.
He needed to take a little bit of that energy of was it when Luke Griffith got the choke on who was the little guy he fought? Was it Pato?
No.
He fought some one of the lightweight guys,
And he just
and he just crushed, and then the guy and you saw him. He actually fucking got evil face, and until the ref was like, "Hey man, let go."
let go, yeah.
You're like, "Oh, what a fucking dog."
Luke Griffiths was bringing that mean energy, man.
Yeah.
Like,
He's
yeah.
fun to watch.
Yeah, and I mean, look, I to be honest, like his match, I should say, with Nicky Rod. Nicky Rod didn't look like he was all there, man.
No, you don't think
looked
so?
he looked injured.
Yeah, right.
Like, I mean, maybe it was just on that day, but he didn't look great. But he won. You know, he was able to get the win. So I think it's tough to say because there's so many factors going in. I think overall, I don't know what the experience was like, people watching on YouTube, but
Hey, if you're sick of getting crushed by larger, stronger opponents on the mat and you feel like you got good techniques, but you just can't make them work because less skilled individuals with more strength than you are shutting you down, you're going to love Champion Strength. It is the program that we used for Adele Fornerino, the most winningest, lightest weight female grappler of all time, to prepare for her double gold run at last year's ADCC and beyond. You can get your hands on that exact program now that's going to make you strong, it's going to make you relentless, it's going to make you harder to injure, and it's going to give you greater confidence on the mats. You can get the program right now. Go to bulletproofforbjj.com, check out the shop, and you will find Champion Strength right there. And the best part is we give you a 100% money back guarantee if you don't love it for whatever reason. And once you're into it, JT and I will be there to coach you personally. See you on the program.
there was a couple of confusing elements. So obviously Gable Stevenson, he pulls out.
Yeah.
2 weeks later has his successful MMA match. What I love is how hard people are trolling him in the comments.
Are
like,
they?
Oh yeah, you know, champion of turf toe. Like he overcame turf toe to be the, you know, like.
Oh, because that's why he pulled out. I was like,
yeah, because I think the UFC, the context, the alleged context is that he might have copped some pressure from the UFC to fuck Craig up.
Yeah, right.
Because he's kind of enemy number one to the UFC because he's speaking so bad about the UFC, BJJ, and all of that. So,
and he debuted in the UFC, did he?
Well, no, it's like a Zuffa-owned organization.
Right.
It's not the UFC, but you know, if he does well there, then
Yeah.
you can see where that might go. But Chael Sonnen came in and got buggy choked just so fast, man. Like,
I mean, I
dude, it was.
couldn't get excited about that.
Well, no. Chael.
Why did Craig have to choke him straight away?
Well, that's the thing. I think Chael came in like quite serious. Like he's like, I'm gonna give this guy as much as I've got.
Yeah.
And I think Craig was coming in probably too relaxed, and then he was like, oh well, I'll just catch this guy. Allegedly, I don't know if this is true. This is just what Chael had said. Is that it was best of 3 or something like that.
Right.
So then they were like, okay, let's run it back. That was done too quickly. And Chael was kind of throwing Craig around a bit. And I think Craig was like, fuck getting thrown around. Whatever.
I could get
I'll
hurt
do it
here.
again, you know? Because like, I don't know what it was. It wasn't like a lat drop, but he turned under and he actually threw Craig pretty hard.
Yeah.
And I think Craig was like, oh, man, fuck this. And just went again. And people were saying it looked like a setup, but Chael was out.
Oh,
Like, I
absolutely.
had direct vision on it. He was like,
Yeah.
and he was, I be honest, full respect to Chael, I think he was quite embarrassed
Chow was?
that he got done the same way twice.
Yeah, right.
But that's such a Craig move. And then he just bailed. He didn't even stick around to say anything. He was just like, fuck, I'm out.
Who, Chael?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And then Gabby got down there. It was a bit awkward. Like, here's the thing. As engineered as everything was, because they didn't have, say, Hanato Laranja in there keeping the, they went and did some interviews.
They had him on the broadcasting.
Yeah, talking with Jocko and stuff like. But it needed an MC that wasn't, the main woman. I forget her name. I apologize. It needed someone to kind of keep it going, keep the crowd going, like something. And Craig was not engaged in that. And I think that people would have loved to have seen Craig in that way, but he just didn't engage. Like
Funny, yeah, he's not really into. He's not a spotlight guy.
He's not. He is a spotlight guy. He can't freestyle.
Right.
He's not an off the cuff. He's a written guy. So you can't get him to say anything really as good impromptu. Right. And that's just, we've just seen that. Like every time it's like, all right, cut to say something off the cuff. Yeah, it was great. All right, boom. Like you just don't see it, right? He is very good at having something which comes across as very natural and unrehearsed, but it's worked.
Right.
Because at the end, and this is the thing, and you would all feel it. Now, let me just share this with you because, everyone feels differently about this. And I got a lot of love for folks in the B team, and I'm not someone who's a big fan of New Wave. The feeling from the crowd who did not know the score was that New Wave was up 3 matches to 2.
Right.
That was the people would like,
New Wave's going to win this.
What do you think? Like, and people were like, fuck, I think New Wave got it. Like, people were like, fuck, because they kind of had the bad guy energy.
Yep.
Like, Luke Rivers, Bodoni, like it was not, Dorian Olivares. Like, bro, they were there to, they weren't there to fuck, like they were there to get it. And respect to that. And so I feel because you could hear it in the crowd, I don't know if you got this watching over the internet, when they announced that it was 27-27-27, a tie score across the 3 judges, that felt extremely unlikely, right? But, things happen. And I don't know the exact rules, but then, we're not privy to this, that the last match would be the deciding winning match, and that happened to be Nicky Rod and Luke Griffiths, right? So you're like, man, for them to then go, so B team wins. There was no other explanation of the rules. There was nothing else. Craig pretty much bounced, and it was like they win, and New Wave was like, what? And the sound from the audience was like, what?
Oh.
It wasn't, woo! It was literally disbelief.
Wow.
The energy went out of the stadium, and people just started to fucking leave. Like it was...
Wow.
It was overwhelming sense of...
Everyone thought it was going to be New Wave.
It was at
seemed rigged.
Yeah. And even though when you go back, you look at the rules, you do the scoring, whatever,
Yeah. I mean, you can't... Can you imagine that they could have rigged that scoring?
No, I don't know.
Right?
I couldn't say that. But the feel, like this is the thing, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter
it's the crowd's
really
impression.
What happened. The crowd impression was like, oh, Craig got his boys paid. Because I don't know if you saw this at home, they did this big thing about Simple Man Martial Arts, possibly the worst rebrand of all time, where they said goodbye to B Team. It's an end of an era, and it was this whole. It was like an ad for the gym in Austin, the rebrand of B Team. And, maybe that's just Craig's way of trying to help the gym out because he's not associated anymore. But that whole feeling was like, well, there's a bias here. And then I didn't pay attention after that because we went out on the town. I went out with Jack. We met up with some of his mates. We caught up with, fucking, they were shooting some dice in some casino somewhere. I didn't pay attention to social media for 12 hours at least. Get back online. New Wave has been awarded $1 million. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
They must have copped some fucking hectic backlash for that to happen. Right?
Yeah.
You're like, wow.
Apparently, yeah, I mean, what Craig's explanation was that whoever's given the money was like, no, they deserve.
Yeah. But then upon review...
it got withdrawn.
Oh my God. Just controversy.
The offer was rescinded.
Controversy after controversy.
Which you can't help but feel like because Gordon was just trolling so hard over that.
Yeah.
That it like ignited Craig to be like, oh, I'm going to find a way to get this money taken back.
Yeah, I don't know. And look, like I said, whatever you feel, whether you feel B Team 1 or New Wave, I'm just going off like the 15 or 20 people were sitting around. We were kind of shocked at the result.
Yeah, wow.
So I don't know, this is the difficulty. The high that was generated, like Tackett Rotolo as one of the greatest matches of all time in Nogi, and the excitement, and even just the closure you get where, okay, Nicky Rod's the $1 million man.
Yeah.
And Cade is the $1 million man. Regardless of what you thought of each individual
Hulk submitting
match.
fucking Joseph Chan. Like, there was amazing moments.
There's so many highlights. I mean, for me, I was obviously on the Levi train. Levi breaking Ty's leg.
Yep.
Seeing Levi go for leg
Lucas
locks.
Cannard on Victor Hugo.
Him taking Hulk's back.
Yep. There was amazing moments.
There's huge moments in there, right? And there was submissions in CJI too, but
on the second
there
day.
wasn't the same feeling. Like, I think everyone came out of CJI 1 being like, this is the next step in grappling. This is the evolution. This is what entertainment grappling can be. And the format of CJI 2, unfortunately, was not that. And the result even took more shine off that. So, which is tough.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and I think we're very spoiled by the first one. I think there was a curse. I think it was a curse having such a good first event because it's like a sequel, right?
It's very difficult.
It's just never going to be as good as the original.
Maybe.
And
I'm not saying this to hate on. I'm not hating on Craig in saying this.
No.
I'm literally just giving you having been there and experienced it.
Yeah.
What Craig has done to make this thing and get people paid and have it all happen is remarkable. It has changed the landscape of grappling. So I'm not saying this to speak bad about Craig, which I think, it makes no sense to do that. It's just, like you say, it's so tough to follow up.
Tough for, and they had a crack at doing something new again.
Different.
Right? Yeah. And it could have just as easily come off and be like, oh my God, that was even
better.
Yeah, even better, right? Or totally different, so you gotta respect like how we're gonna do a fucking different format this time. Do you think there will be a CJI 3?
Nothing like this. I don't think so. When I saw the message that New Wave would get $1 million, I was like, oh, they're going to go for a third. Because you've got to keep John Good. You've got to keep all those competitors on board for this. And then when they said no, I was like, no, I don't think so.
They've killed the New Wave participation.
Which is a big piece of the puzzle. So, yeah, I couldn't say for sure, but I think what we're going to see now is there will be other emulations of this style of event. And, you never know. You might see Craig be involved with other events. I think he might become the promoter extraordinaire for other events because maybe he just doesn't want all the drama that comes with having to organize your own event,
Yeah.
So I think you might see him involved with ADCC again, but helping make it better, or whatever it might be. Like I think it's just such a tough thing to put on one person, and there were many aspects that were successful, but it's hard to think with all the outcomes that occurred that the money and the time and the effort would be replicated. I don't think so.
Yeah, right. Well, we're fucking spoiled to see that many epic grapplers.
Yeah, for sure. And I was very grateful to be there. I was obviously sad to not have you there, Joe, to have your own conclusions. But no, man, I think it was, I felt like I had to be there because there wasn't going to be another one. And I felt like I made the right decision to be there because it was a great experience regardless of outcome.
Yeah, I definitely got a bit of FOMO seeing you guys there that day and the videos that ensued from later that. And I was like, fuck yeah, it would have been fun to be in Vegas for that day.
Yeah. But it's all right. There will be more events. I think like many great inventions, they spawn other great inventions. And this is the best step that's ever happened in grappling in the last 10, 15 years. And this has enabled more athletes to get more pay. The standard has been lifted. So if this means that other better things happen, then you cannot take away the importance of this event and what it's done for jiu-jitsu. There it is, folks. Love it or hate it, CJI, legendary.